Sir Peter Ustinov, inspired actor, humorous narrator and vehement campaigner for suffering children. Sir Peter is a great opponent of nationalist movements. He's a wholehearted citizen of the world. The interview took place in the little Swiss village where Sir Peter lives, amidst countless suitcases, some of which haven't even been unpacked.
My name is Peter Ustinov. The Queen has said that I must be called Sir, so I have to obey. I'm an ordinary citizen, but apart from that, I am a member of the Club of Budapest, which is a very exclusive brotherhood and sisterhood of people who respect each other. Apart from that, I'm ambassador for Unicef for the last 30 years and a member of the French Academy of Fine Arts and Chancellor of the University of Durham. But apart from that, just an ordinary fellow like you and I. World citizenship is really a belief that everything is everyone's responsibility, and the consequent feeling of fraternity and sorority, which it should really give everybody, who is more concerned with humanity than with the rigid interpretation of nationality. I can't take nationality very seriously because I'm British, and my father became British but was German before that. I had the choice between the two. My father's brother was killed in the First World War as a German officer. My father's next brother was Canadian, and my other brother of my father is still Argentine, and the sister of all that is Lebanese. So don't ask me about nationality. To my mind, it's strictly unimportant. I believe it's possible to have one's roots in good behavior. I have no definition of happiness, really, except that happiness is one of those abstract ideals which are on everybody's horizon. And like perfection, you know that you're never going to get it entirely because time, it moves, it isn't static. And perfection is something you always have to yearn for, in the hope of never entirely reaching, because it'd be too good to be true. Happiness, basically, I'm an extremely happy man, but I don't mean to say that I'm happy all the time. And then, of course, if you ask me the opposite, what is the description of unhappiness, I think it's mainly if you're not satisfied with yourself. Because in life, I think you have to set yourself fairly high standards. You mustn't put them out of reach, otherwise you'll always be unhappy. Make the whole game possible by putting happiness within reach. And happiness, like everything else, is a compromise. But compromises can be highly successful if they're done properly. And of course, between these poles of happiness and unhappiness is life as it is lived. And one has to steer one's own way through the minefield. And I think it helps if you learn to enjoy it, to enjoy the challenges, not to be frightened of them. I'm an optimist simply because I think the alternative is too frightful to contemplate. I think I'm an optimist because I know how sad, how challenging, how miserable, how unfair, how unkind life can be. And I think a pessimist is somebody who finds this out new every morning. Nothing makes life unlivable apart from death, and I haven't tried that yet. And I'm not very keen to start the experiment. I think probably the most interesting thing that ever happened to me is being born. And it's a source of infinite regret that I can no remember the details anymore. Apart from that, I'm prepared to be surprised at any moment. Now, if you ask me what the worst thing that I ever did, I really can't remember the bad things that happened. And I'm sure I did frightful things. But most of them were mean, you know, at school, for instance. I'm sure I did frightful things, or things which were considered frightful by other students. But I can't really put my finger on anything in particular and say, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Memory is a very soothing thing, and it takes away the unpleasant things. It's when it starts taking away the pleasant things, then you know you're getting old. It's very strange that I interviewed Mr. Mandela the other day, and he said to me that he really was thankful for the 27 years spent in prison because it allowed him to meditate, which is a function which everybody who is forced to make decisions in this world should really have to go through. And since he's come out of prison, he hasn't had the time anymore. Well, I know what he means, of course. One's relationship with other people is tremendously important, but it's very important also to have some time to yourself and to begin to distinguish, and I think that only comes with maturity, between solitude and loneliness. It's not at all the same thing. Solitude is something which is very necessary in order to find yourself. And loneliness is a regret that you're alone. It's not at all the same thing. And so your relationship with other people is very important because you really only discover who you are in relationship with other people. One of the essential decorations of life is art, because I always divide things into things which can be explained and things which cannot be explained. Science, chemistry, the wonders of the universe are things which are being unraveled every day. And of course, it's like Kafka a little bit. The more doors you open onto the unknown, the more doors you find behind them. Art will always be out of reach, and it's no use bringing it within reach. It loses all its value. And even a great scientist needs to read a good book on occasion in order to spend a short time in a world where not everything is explained, but only hinted at, only felt. That's a question I've been asking myself for a long time now without any satisfactory answer. I don't know. I tend to be very rational in my behavior, and I would be a humanist, in fact I am in a way, if I didn't look at the wonder of nature and decide that there must be something behind it. What that is, I have no idea. I'm quite resigned to be nothing after death. People have asked me what I want put on my tombstone, and I thought, please keep off the grass is the best thing I can find. If there's something out of death, I hope it's pleasant. I hope that some of the theories of other religions aren't real, that one doesn't, because one's behaved badly, become a snail or something with rather more limited possibilities of comprehension. But if I am a snail, I just hope to be a rather quicker one than I was a person. But I think all the questions are there already. I think we're only waiting for an answer. I hope we never get one, really. Perfection is death. It's boring. It has no personality. That's one of the secrets of life. In order to have personality, you can't be perfect. Usually I'm told that at this juncture you have people reading Goethe, which means that despite talk about planetary consciousness, global intellectual development, citizen of the world, Goethe is terribly important to especially Germans. Why not Shakespeare? Why not Molière? Why not Pushkin? Why not a whole lot of people? Why not the great Moldavian poet whose name escapes me at this moment? Why not the great, that's a good one, Macedonian writer? No. Keep the Greeks quiet. It's not Fyrom, that ridiculous name invented to please them, former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. It's Macedonia, the Republic of Macedonia. Well, now that we've cleared that up, I'm very interested in Goethe for one thing, because we shot a film, a part of a documentary about Mendelssohn in Goethe's house in Weimar. They didn't allow us in. They did allow us in eventually in order to photograph the house, but we were not allowed to talk, because the place was by now of such holiness to the Germans that Goethe's spirit must be untroubled in there by other human voices. I got so fed up with this, I made myself an identity card as though it was some American CIA, and did a drawing of Goethe on it, and called myself Wolf Goethe, U.S. citizen, and has free access to all the sacred places in Germany and the whole world, because we're here to protect all you fine people. And I just found that my way of protesting against something that Goethe, had he been alive today, would have found intolerable, that one can't open one's mouth in his presence. He was a very good listener, as well as a great poet. He listened to Beethoven, he listened to all of them. And there's that wonderful anecdote with him and Beethoven. You've probably never heard it, and if I'm not allowed to finish, you never will. But they were walking together down the street in Weimar when two archdukes came walking in the other direction. And Goethe said to Beethoven, "Come on, out of the way," and prepared to bow. And Beethoven either pretended not to hear or couldn't hear, but he walked right through the archdukes. As Beethoven, wrapped in thought, walked through them, both archdukes bowed to Beethoven and then went on their way. When Beethoven had walked far enough, he turned round in time to see the archdukes walking as they were before, and Goethe in the ditch. And Beethoven waited for Goethe to catch up with him. You see, you must realize there are thousands of them and only two of us.